Welcome to Cinematic Recaps. This movie is called Devil's Advocate. The movie is about Kevin Lomax, a ruthless young Florida attorney who never lost a case and is recruited by the most powerful law firm in the world. Little that he knows is that he's now being offered the biggest opportunity of his career from the devil himself. Sit back and enjoy to see what happens. The movie starts in a courtroom with Kevin Lomax, who is a successful defense attorney in Gainesville, Florida. We see him defending Lloyd Geddes, a high school teacher accused of molesting a young girl named Barbara. As the trial gradually went on, Kevin noticed that his client is guilty. Kevin then asked the judge for a break because his rage is uncontrollable. While in the bathroom, he is unsure about what to do. Shortly after, we see him break Barbara through cross-examination and got her to doubt on herself, which obtained a not guilty verdict. After successfully defending his client, he celebrates with his wife Mary in a bar. A man who represents a law firm in New York approaches him and asks if he wants to help him assist with a jury selection. It ends up with the Lomaxes traveling to New York, where Kevin displays his judgment by selecting a jury. John Milton, dressed impeccably, stands far back and observes him doing his job. Furthermore, the jury reached a decision after only 38 minutes of deliberation and was delivered as not guilty. He then returned home just to tell Mary about his day, and they both gets overexcited. As Kevin is being shown about the office by Heath, a stunning young attorney named Christabella draws his attention away. When he meets Milton, he admits that eavesdropping on jurors while they deliberate has contributed to some of his success. Milton asks Lomax about his past as he shows him the roof, which has an infinity pool on it. There is an implicit employment offer. The Lomax family is brought to Heath and Jackie's huge, lavish residence. The following day, Pam gives Kevin his first case as he meets the team. He encounters Philip Moyes, a voodoo practitioner who is facing charges for goat sacrifice. While Mary tries to adorn the flat, Kevin starts his investigation. Milton is pleased by Kevin's effective defense of Moyes. Attending a reception at Managing Director Eddie Barzone's opulent residence are Kevin and Mary. While Kevin converses with Christabella, Milton makes a sexist joke about Mary's hair and flirts with her. Milton calls Eddie, Heath, and Kevin to his room and tells them he needs Kevin for Alexander Cullen's high-profile murder trial. A businessman charged with the murders of his wife's stepson, and a housekeeper. Eddie and Heath disagree with the choice to appoint Kevin as counsel. When Kevin gets back to his apartment that evening, Mary is enraged because she was left at the party alone. Alexander is met by Kevin, who persuades him that he can protect him. Jackie, Mary, and Eddie's wife Diana put on pricey gowns while Mary observes Jackie's visage change into a demonic grimace. Without success, Kevin attempts to comfort Mary. Kevin offers the suggestion that they try for a child after the woman laments how much she misses and feels alone without him. As they start having sex, Kevin starts to picture Mary as Christabella. Mary realizes something is wrong, and they stop. Alexander is briefed by Kevin, who does so expertly. Milton runs into Kevin, Mary, and Kevin's mother on their way home from an expensive dinner. She resists Milton's efforts to seduce her since she appears to recognize him from someplace. Mary recognizes the ruse and becomes annoyed as Kevin fights the urge to meet Milton and attractive ladies in his suite. Kevin's mother makes an effort to persuade him to leave and go back to Florida. Kevin starts his investigation and interviews. Eddie is discovered working late and trashing papers. When advising Kevin to disregard the goings-on, Eddie brings up Weaver at the Justice Department. Kevin is invited to a boxing fight when Milton appears. When a punk approaches them on the metro, Milton advises him, in flawless Spanish, to check on his girl because she is cheating on him. Milton continues to have a good time as Kevin calls Mary and tries to explain himself. Milton smiles as he observes Kevin conversing with a bunch of attractive women as they sit together. Mary is awakened in the meanwhile by a disturbance and discovers a toddler inside the flat. She is horrified to see that the kid is playing with a bunch of ovaries. Kevin explains to her that it was a dream the following day, but she is still terrified. She informs Kevin that she has learned she can't have children. The phone rings and he is cut off. Alexander admits to being disloyal and having an affair with his secretary the night of the murder, telling Kevin. Milton requests that Kevin drop the lawsuit and take care of Mary, but Kevin is determined to succeed. Milton relents. The trial has begun. Kevin's main strategy is making Alexander appear bad, which also allows Kevin to eventually show that Alexander was having an affair with his secretary when the crime was committed. Later, Eddie confronts Kevin on his promotion and makes a threat to contact the Justice Department. After Eddie is hunted by ghostly runners and killed by homeless men dressed as devils, Kevin alerts Milton to the danger. From the window of her flat, Mary observes. Kevin informs Melissa, the secretary, and discovers that she has never had intercourse with Cullen. Then he finds out about Eddie's passing. Both the tragedy and the secretary's falsehoods bother him. Again on the metro, Milton advises Kevin to follow his instincts. Milton observes as Kevin summons the secretary to the witness stand back in the courtroom. Alexander is vindicated after her testimony. When Kevin gets home, he finds Mary has visited a nearby church and is in critical condition. Kevin is informed by Mary that Milton visited the flat and spoke with her for several hours. Mary started having sex with Milton out of loneliness and desperation, but when she ordered him to stop, Milton viciously assaulted her. Kevin believes Mary is insane since he saw Milton in court. She adamantly asserts that she is not insane and displays to Kevin the bleeding scratches that cover her body. He gets her admitted to a mental institution, believing that she has caused this harm to herself. Later, Alexander shows up with his 14-year-old stepdaughter, Alessandra, while Kevin attends Eddie's burial. Suddenly, Kevin sees Cullen as Geddes, the pedophile he had supported in Gainesville, as he starts to stroke Alessandra's skin sensually. Kevin quits the church after learning that Cullen was having an affair with his stepdaughter, who is underage, and that Mary might not be that insane after all. Mitch Weaver welcomes him and informs him that Eddie will be testifying against Milton. Only after informing Kevin that Geddes was discovered with a 10-year-old girl's body in his car's trunk can he persuade Kevin. Weaver tries to cross to Kevin to continue the conversation but is murdered when he is hit by a vehicle. Milton grinned and touched the holy water, making it boil. When Kevin visits Mary at the mental hospital, his mother is also present. She informs Kevin that his father worked as a waitress in New York City, and Mary thinks Pam is a monster. Pam watches as she locks the door and cuts her throat. Later, Kevin's mother reveals to him that Milton is in fact his father. Kevin realizes that Milton has been observing Kevin and assisting him all along. Pam reassures Kevin before he departs to visit Milton. He is alone on the streets of New York as he strolls. Milton is confronted by Kevin in his office, and Kevin shoots him, but nothing happens. Christabella is Milton's half-sister, and Milton admits that he is Satan. Milton wants them to inherit the business and have a child. The sculptures come to life as Kevin begins to negotiate the agreement. Kevin gets seduced by Christabella, but at the crucial moment, he shoots himself in the head to end his life. Milton bursts into flames out of wrath. Christabella shrinks into a desiccated corpse as Kevin hits the ground, and Milton transforms into his real heavenly form, which resembles Kevin identically. The entire scenario abruptly cuts back to the movie's opening scene, as Kevin is shown looking into a toilet mirror in a Florida courthouse. Kevin is debating whether to support the instructor, who he knows is at fault. When he returns to the courtroom to begin the cross-examination of Barbara the victim to undermine her evidence, he also discovers Mary waiting for him outside the men's lavatory. Before he can start, he tells the court and jury that he is unable to continue with the trial and resigns, with the legal counsel supporting his decision as being the appropriate one. Knowing what has transpired, Kevin understands that he has been granted a second opportunity by divine intervention to do good rather than what is expected of him. The reporter from the toilet at the beginning pursues Kevin as he and Mary leave the courthouse to want an exclusive interview about his choice to resign from the case and on being a lawyer with a conscience. Kevin first declines, but after encouragement from the reporter and Mary, he consents to call the reporter later for the exclusive. The reporter transforms into John Milton, who smiles and adds the final phrase as Kevin and Mary leave the courthouse. Vanity is without a doubt my favorite sin. And this is the end of this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for weekly updates of movie recaps like this. Comment what movie you want next. Thanks for watching.